Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Pay homage, Noble Blessed One. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today, October 10, 2016, at Dhammasukha Meditation Center, I am going to talk from Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 48, Kosambyia Sutta. So, first of all, what is the meaning of Kosambyia? The Kosambyia, in that place, before establishing the city, there were many trees, and those trees' name was Kosambu trees. When they established the city, that place, at that time they cut up many Kosambu trees from there. And later on they gave the name that place Kosambyia. So, in that city, the Blessed One gave the Dhamma talk. So, that sutta, first of all, I will read a few paragraphs, then I will give you some commentaries. So, let me read the sutta, then I will explain. Thus have I heard on one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Kosambi in Gusita Park. Now, on that occasion, the monks at Kosambi had taken to quarreling and brawling, and were deep in disputes, stabbing each other with barbed daggers. They could neither convince each other nor be convinced by others. They could neither persuade each other nor be persuaded by others. So, here, what is the problem? Why the monks were quarreling? There were two groups of monks, Sutta monks and Vinayadhara monks. So, one day, Sutta monk went to the restroom and he used his backside business, and after that he used the water from the bucket. But he left little water there. Then he left the restroom. And later on, the Vinayadhara monks went to the restroom and he saw the little water left in the bucket. So after finishing his private activity, backside, then he came out. Then he said, "Who used the restroom before me?" Then he figured out the master of Sutta group, who know a lot of Dhamma, who is very well known, who can preach very well. So he said, "You break the precept." And Sutta monk said, "Well, I don't know that, so I apologize to you, please forgive me." Then Vinaya monk said, "Okay, when you apologize, I forgive you." But Vinaya monk went to his temple, he said to his disciple, "Do you know what happened today? The Sutta monk, he knows Dhamma very well, but he doesn't know discipline. He went to a restroom and he doesn't know how to use the water." When he said to his disciples, and next day they went out for collecting alms food. Disciple of Sutta monks also went for collecting alms food, and disciple of Vinaya monk also went to collect alms food. At that time, disciple of Vinaya monk starting criticizing about Sutta monk's disciple. Your monk is very famous. How did he forget the discipline rule and starting quarreling? So, from the two groups, a certain monk went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he sat down at one side and informed him of what was happening. Then the Blessed One addressed a certain monk thus, "Come, monk, tell those monks in my name that the teacher calls them." "Yes, Venerable Sir," he replied, and he went to those monks and told them, "The teacher calls the Venerable Ones." "Yes, friend," they replied, and they went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, they sat down at one side. The Blessed One then asked them, "Monks, is it true that you have taken to quarreling and brawling and are deep in disputes, stabbing each other with barbell daggers, that you can neither convince each other nor be convinced by others, that you can neither persuade each other nor be persuaded by others?" "Yes, Venerable Sir." Here, when the Buddha asking question one by one, at that time, those monks said, "Bhante, your duty is to teach Dhamma to us. Please don't associate our matters." So when those monks said like that, Buddha was very upset. Those monks are very rude. They are not listening me. Then he left them. He went to the Paroliya forest and he practiced meditation during rainy retreat 3 months. So in that forest, there was an elephant who took care of the Buddha. Every day brought the fruits from the different places and offered to the Buddha. When Buddha needed water, warm water, he made the warm water for him and then he offered to the Buddha. At that time, a monkey, he saw that, wow, that animal is doing everyday merit. Oh man, I also have to do something. Then that monkey was thinking that what should I do? And he was moving from this tree to that tree, this tree to that tree, and finally he found the honey. Then one day he offered the honey to the Buddha. So at that time Buddha was practicing meditation. When he opened up his eye, then he saw the honey in front of him. But the monkey was a little bit far from the Buddha. From that side, he saw that Buddha is accepting or not his offering. So when Buddha opened his eye and he accepted the monkey's honey, then monkey saw that. In his mind, joy and happiness arose. He was so happy. Then because of happiness, he was jumping from one tree to another tree, from another tree to another tree. Eventually, he fell down on the stone and passed away. then immediately he reborn in the heaven, because he passed away with the happy mind. So, on the other hand, in Kosambyia, the lay supporters stopped offering food to the Buddhist monks, to Sutta monks and to Vinaya monks. During rainy retreat, they couldn't find enough food to eat. They were suffering. Because lay supporters said to them, because of your problem, because of quarreling, our great teacher left us, so no more food for you. So at that time, all the monks suffered a lot. They became skinny, And later on, of course, they understood their problem. This is our fault, this is our guilty, and they negotiated each other. And from there, a certain monk went to the Paroliya forest. So whenever the elephant saw that a certain monk is coming, he stopped him, don't come here. Buddha is practicing meditation alone. But Buddha saw that. He said to elephant, please allow him. So that monk went to the Buddha, paid respect him and sat one side. Then he said, Bhante, Sutta monks and Vinaya monks, they understood that they made a problem. They created a problem. So please come back to Kosambyia and teach us Dhamma, so that we can practice well. So Buddha decided to go back to Kosambyia. At that time, the elephant was weeping. Then Buddha said to the elephant, please don't be upset. I am really grateful to you, because 3 months you offered me food. You took care of me a lot. So, if I give you Dhamma talk to you, you will never get any attainment, because you are animal. But I am blessing you. In the future, your life will be beautiful. After saying that, the Buddha left Paroliya forest. And that night, the elephant weeping whole night, and that night he passed away, and finally he also reborn in heaven. So when the Buddha came back to Kosambyia, he said to the monks, monks, what do you think? When you take to quarreling and brawling, and are deep in disputes, stabbing each other with barbed daggers, do you on that occasion maintain acts of loving kindness by body, speech, and mind, in public and in private towards your companions in the holy life? No, venerable sir. So, monks, when you take to quarreling and brawling, and are deep in disputes, stabbing each other with barbed daggers, on that occasion you do not maintain acts of loving kindness by body, speech, and mind, in public and in private towards your companions in the holy life. Misguided man, what can you possibly know? What can you see that you take to quarreling and brawling, and are deep in disputes, stabbing each other with barbed daggers, that you can neither convince each other nor be convinced by others, that you can neither persuade each other nor be persuaded by others? Misguided man, that will lead to your harm and suffering for a long time. Then the Blessed One addressed the monks thus. Now he is going to explain how to live happily, harmony, with unity. Monks, there are the 6 principles of cordiality that create love and respect and conduce to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord, and to unity. What are the 6? Here a monk maintains bodily act of loving kindness both in public and in private towards his companions in the holy life. This is a principle of cordiality that creates love and respect and conduces to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord, and to unity. Again, a monk maintains verbal acts of loving kindness both in public and in private towards his companions in the holy life. This too is a principle of cordiality that creates love and respect and conduces to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord, and to unity. And next, again the Buddha said, a monk maintains mental acts of loving kindness both in public and in private towards his companions in the holy life. This too is a principle of cordiality that creates love and respect and conduces to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord, and to unity. So here, Buddha tried to explain. In Pali, we call mettang kaya kammang, mettang vasi kammang. So mettang kaya kammang means bodily acts of loving kindness. Mettang vasi kammang means verbally acts of loving kindness. And mettang manu kammang, it means mentally acts of loving kindness. And now Buddha tried to say about the precept. He said, again a monk uses things in common with his pursuers, companions in the holy life. What does it mean here in this sentence? Here tried to say, when a monk will go out to collect the food, after collecting food, when he will come back to the temple, he will share the food to other monks who keep the precept. So when I was in Thailand, every early morning, I went to alms round. You know, in Thailand, a lot of people, they offer a lot of food. So after collecting the food, I returned back to the temple and I put in the one big bowl all the curry, all food. So when all monks come back, then we would eat together. Whatever we need, whatever other monk need, they can take from the big bowl. So we did like that. So same thing Buddha tried to say here. Without making reservations, he shares with them any gain of a kind that occurs with the Dhamma and has been obtained in a way that accords with the Dhamma, including even the contents of his bowl. This too is a principle of cordiality that creates love and respect and conduces to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord, and to unity. Again, a monk dwells both in public and in private, possessing in common with his companions in the holy life those virtues that are unbroken, untorn, unblushed, and unmottled, liberating, commended by the wise, not misapprehended, and conducive to collectedness. So here try to say that when someone observes the sila, precept, his mind become always calm, collectedness, samatha in Pali. This too is a principle of cordiality that creates love and respect and conduces to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord and to unity. Again, a monk dwells both in public and in private, possessing in common with his companions in the holy life that view that is noble and emancipating, and leads one who practices in accordance with it to the complete destruction of suffering. So here that view means harmonious perspective, right understanding. So one who understands harmonious perspective and practice, keep precept, and he can live happily, and he can understand Dhamma very well, and he can see suffering. This too is a principle of cordiality that creates love and respect and conduces to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord and to unity. These are the 6 principles of cordiality that create love and respect and conduce to cohesion, to non-dispute, to concord and unity. So here, as I mentioned, bodily acts of loving kindness, mettang, kaya, kammang. At Dhammasukha Meditation Center, when we started practicing meditation, at the beginning, we listened our great teacher, Bhante Saccananda. He said us, at the beginning, please keep the precept. Don't break any precept. If you keep the precept very well, your meditation will progress very fast. Then he said, life is meditation, meditation is life. It means when you do something by bodily acts, we have to radiate loving kindness. Whatever we'll do, mettang kaya kammang. Verbally acts of loving kindness, vasi, mettang vasi, kammang. When we speak with someone with a smile, we have to speak very polite, very gentle, by radiating loving kindness. And mental acts of loving kindness. Mettang manu kammang. When we speak with someone became very angry. They were very mad. We have to be very careful so that no hatred arises in our mind, no greed arises in our mind, no lust arises in our mind. So what can we do? We have to use the 6 R's. So when we use the 6 R's, lust cannot arise in our mind, hatred cannot arise in our mind, even though someone speak very rude. At that time when we will use the 6 R's, what are the 6 R's? Recognize when our mind is distracted. Release. Let it be. Wherever our mind go away, we should not pay attention there. Relax. At that time, in our head, in our brain, some sort of tension and tightness occur. So we have to recognize that. At that time, when we experience the tension and tightness, then we'll see craving, fade away. And we will feel very comfortable. No tension, tightness will exist at that time. Then real smile. Real smile means to bring up wholesome thought in our mind and return and repeat. Repeat means what? Radiating loving kindness to a spiritual friend. So, Buddha here he tried to explain more of these principles of cordiality, the chief, the most cohesive, the most unifying is this view. It means right understanding, harmonious perspective that is noble and emancipating, and which leads the one who practices in accordance with it to the complete destruction of suffering. Just as the chief, the most cohesive, the most unifying part of a pinnacled house, a pinnacle house is the pinnacle itself. So too, of these 6 principles of cordiality, the chief, the most cohesive, the most unifying is this view that is noble and emancipating, and which leads the one who practices in accordance with it to the complete destruction of suffering. So, as I mentioned earlier, these 6 principles is to live peacefully, to live harmony with the unity. And now, the Buddha is going to explain how to realize oneself when someone attains Sotapanna. When we will understand his explanation, we will be able to understand, now I attain Sotapanna. So let me see, what did the Buddha say? How does this view that is noble and emancipating lead the one who practices in accordance with it to the complete destruction of suffering? Here a monk, gone to the forest and to the root of a tree or to an empty hut, considers thus, is there any obsession unabundant in myself that might be obsess my mind, that I cannot know or see things as they actually are? If a person is obsessed by sensual lust, then his mind is obsessed. If he is obsessed by ill will, then his mind is obsessed. If he is obsessed by sloth and torpor, then his mind is obsessed. If he is obsessed by restlessness and anxiety, then his mind is obsessed. If he is obsessed by doubt, then his mind is obsessed. If a monk is consumed in a speculation about this world, then his mind is obsessed. If a monk is absorbed in a speculation about the other world, then his mind is obsessed. If a monk takes to quarreling and brawling and is deep in dispute, stabbing others with verbal daggers, then his mind is obsessed. He understands thus, there is no obsession unabundant in myself that might so obsess my mind that I cannot know and see things as they actually are. My mind is well disposed for awakening to the truths. This is the first knowledge attained by him, that is noble, leads to the supramundane, not shared by ordinary people. Again, a noble disciple considered thus: when I pursue, develop and cultivate this view, do I obtain internal serenity? Here serenity means samatha. Do I personally obtain stillness? He understands thus: when I pursue, develop and cultivate this view, I obtain internal serenity, I personally obtain stillness. This is the second knowledge attained by him, that is noble, leads to the supramundane, not shared by other ordinary people. Again, a noble disciple considers thus: is there any other recluse or Brahmin outside the Buddha's dispensation possessed of a view such as I possessed? He understands thus: there is no other recluse or Brahmin outside the Buddha's dispensation possessed of a view such as I possess. This is the third knowledge attained by him, that is noble, leads to the supramundane, not shared by ordinary people. Again, a noble disciple considered thus: do I possess the character of a person who possesses right view? What is the character of a person who possesses right view? This is the character of a person who possesses right view, although he may commit some kind of offense for which a means of rehabilitation. This rehabilitation has been laid down. Still, he at once confesses, reveals and discloses it to the teacher or to wise companions in the holy life. So here, Buddha tried to say, when he commit any offense, knowingly or unknowingly, then he go to the senior monk and he confess. You see, like me, one day I was thinking that I break one rule from 227. Then I went to the Bhante. Bhante, we should confess every day, if you agree, I mean. He said, do you want to confess every day? Yes. Well, okay, you can confess, no problem. Then, according to his advice, we started confessing almost every day. Then I felt very clear mind, no guilty in my mind, So that's why Buddha said that those who are Sotapanna, they never keep anything secret in their mind. Even though if they break any rules, they go immediately to the senior monk and confess them. In Pali we call apatti. So here still he at once confesses, reveals and discloses it to the teacher or to wise companions in the holy life, and having done that, he enters upon restraint for the future. In the future, he never commit any offense. He said, Bhante, from today, I will not commit any offense. So I am announcing you, please forgive me. Just as a young, tender infant lying prone at once draws back when he puts his hand or his foot on a live coil, so too that is the character of a person who possesses right view. He understands thus, I possess the character of a person who possesses right view. This is the fourth knowledge attained by him, that is noble, leads to the supramundane, not shared by ordinary people. Again, a noble disciple considered thus: do I possess the character of a person who possesses right view? What is the character of a person who possesses right view? This is the character of a person who possesses right view, although he may be active in various matters for his companions in the holy life, yet he has a keen regard for training in the higher virtue. What does it mean, this? This means keeping precept. We have to keep the precept during practice meditation, otherwise we will never progress our meditation. This is very important method I actually learned from the Bhante Vimala Ramsi after coming here. I also experienced a lot because of keeping precept. Before, I never realized that even though if we don't keep precept, we may progress meditation, but that was the wrong concept. Training in the higher mind. How can we train our mind higher? By using 6 R's again. Recognize, release, relax, smile, return and repeat. Training in the higher wisdom. How can training our mind and we can gain the higher wisdom? By seeing and understanding the link of dependent origination, right? So, when our mind become calm, without distraction, then we will be able to see the link of dependent origination. At the beginning, of course, from the ignorance to feeling, we can see very subtle attachment, subtle vibration. But from craving to the end, we can see strong attachment. When craving arises in our brain, in our head, then we can recognize very well. Just as a cow with a new calf, while she washes her calf, so too, that is the character of a person who possesses right view. He understands thus, I possess the character of a person who possesses right view. This is the fifth knowledge attained by him, that is noble, leads to the supramundane, not shared by ordinary people. Again, a noble disciple considered thus: do I possess the strength of a person who possesses right view? What is the strength of a person who possesses right view? This is the strength of a person who possesses right view. When the Dhamma and discipline proclaimed by the Tathagata is being taught, he heeds it, gives it attention, engages it with all his mind, hears the Dhamma as with eager ears. He understands thus, I possess the strength of a person who possesses right view. This is the sixth knowledge attained by him, that is noble, leads to the supramundane, not shared by ordinary people. Again, a noble disciple considers thus: do I possess the strength of a person who possesses right view? What is the strength of a person who possesses right view? This is the strength of a person who possesses right view. When the Dhamma and discipline proclaimed by the Tathagata is being taught, he gains inspiration in the meaning, he gains inspiration in the Dhamma, and he gains relief connected with the Dhamma. He understands thus, I possess the strength of a person who possesses right view. This is the seventh knowledge attained by him, that is noble, leads to the supramundane, not shared by ordinary people. When a noble disciple is thus possessed of 7 factors, he has well sought the character for realization of the fruit of extreme tree. That is what the Blessed One said. The monks were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So, when we will understand these 7 factors, it will be very clear to us that we really attain Sotapanna with fruition. So no need to tell us by other. But here big deal is, we have to try to read this sutta again and again, and practice again and again. Then later on, we will be able to understand very clearly. So, these are the Kosambyia Sutta that the Buddha explained to the monks. By reading this sutta, actually, I have the strong confidence that Buddha explained very clearly here how to become noble. So, I hope all of you understand my explanation. Eventually, may all living beings be happy and peaceful. May all living beings finally attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. The suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grief initiate all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.